If you want to become one of the best Pokemon Go players and you want to be the envy of all of your friends, then this video is going to be just for you. I'm going to be going over some tips as a longtime player on how to excel in Pokemon Go. Alrighty, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So for today, we're going to be going over the best tips for Pokemon Go in the year 2025. I've been playing this game for several years at this point. I've basically started on day one, and I've been consistently playing Pokemon Go ever since then. And my collection consists of a whole bunch of legendaries, shundos, a whole bunch of Pokemon that are incredibly rare. And I will say that over the years, I've employed a lot of various strategies to get pretty much where I am. So, real quick, let's go over my collection. This is going to give you a snapshot of what you could aim for. You can see right here, I have a whole bunch of 100% IVs and high IV legendaries and a whole bunch of Pokemon that are just incredibly useful in all different aspects of the game. And just in general, I will say that my collection is quite good. You know, I'll give myself a little bit of a brag. It's been several years of just collecting and trading and raiding and doing a whole bunch of stuff to get where I'm at right now. And yeah, I'm really proud of my collection. I think a lot of the work that I put into it definitely shows. There's definitely a lot of Pokemon that a lot of players would dream of getting that I fortunately am able to have. So let's talk about how I was able to get this collection and what parts of Pokemon Go you need to focus in on when it comes to playing the game. The first thing I'm going to start off by saying is that Pokemon Go is a game where you essentially never win. There's no winning in Pokemon Go. There's not like an ultimate objective. There's not a story mode that you need to finish. It's basically a sandbox game. So because of that, you really need to set yourself up with some really good goals. That is basically how you keep Pokemon Go relevant. It's basically how you continue to play the game on a daily basis. You just need to set yourself up some really good long-term goals. For myself, it always came down to getting 100% IVs of certain legendaries. In particular, you see right here, this is my top 12. I have it sorted by naming. And all 12 of these Pokemon, I eventually want a 100% IV of. And I'm getting pretty close. I think once Bottle Caps comes out, you're going to see that some of these are going to be 100%, but pretty much anytime you see these 12 in raid battles, even if they're not relevant, I'm always going to raid them. And it's mainly because I have that as a personal goal. Some people, their personal goal might be completely different. They might want to get as many shundos as they possibly can, and in which case, that's going to require a whole different set of gameplay. Some people want to be the highest when it comes to PvP. Some people want to have the most amount of experience out of every single player in the world. Whatever your goals are, you need to set them for yourself. Another really good goal for you to have is, of course, getting platinum with every single one of the achievement medals. That is a very lofty goal that a lot of players do aim for, and for myself, that is another goal that I have for myself. So, case in point, really you need to set yourself your own personal goals, and that is exactly how you're going to keep Pokemon Go relevant. It's going to motivate you to continue to play the game. Now, another thing that I will suggest when it comes to Pokemon Go is that you need to play on a daily basis. That goes without saying. Like, regardless of whatever your goals are, regardless of what your aims are with Pokemon Go, you need to be continuously collecting Stardust, you need to be continuously collecting experience, and the best way to do that is to just open up the game every single day. Regardless if you live in a rural area, regardless if you live in an urban area, you just want to collect as many Pokemon as you can. You want to, improve on your throws. Basically, you want to continuously play Pokemon Go. That is probably the best tip I can give. I mean, really, like, as you continue to play Pokemon Go, you're going to find that you're going to be, improving in your throws. Like, I'm actually having a struggle with this play Coco, but you want to continuously practice your throwing. That means your curveball throws, your excellent throws, different things like that. That's one of the ways that you can improve as a Pokemon Go player. The best players in the world are the ones that do not struggle catching Pokemon. It's going to allow them to catch Pokemon by spending less balls. It's going to allow them to catch legendary Pokemon, different things like that. It's all extremely relevant. So one of the things that I suggest is that when it comes to these curveball throws, wow, I'm actually doing a really bad job with these throws, but if you aim for a certain spot with every single Pokemon, like, you're going to land a lot more excellent throws. So I'm going to jump into this Snow Run encounter right here, and you can see I'm spinning the ball to get the curveball throw. And as the circle is spinning or is shrinking, I'm going to throw the ball kind of at the center middle. So I'm actually not going to aim for the Pokemon. Well, that was kind of it. But you want to kind of aim like right under their feet on the center. That's kind of like the sweet spot. So when the curveball goes, it's going to get closer to the center. Here, let's try it with this Quagsire. This might be a better Pokemon to go with. So as you can see, I'm spinning and I want to aim for, do you see where the Pokeball is right now? That's kind of where you want to aim for. You kind of want to shoot it this way, like that. So regardless of how you spin it, some people spin it this way and then they have to throw it that way. And if you spin it this way, you got to throw it this way. But basically you want to aim for that spot. And as you can see, I aim it, boom. That's one of the ways that I've been able to get consistent, great throws and excellent throws with a curveball. And as you can see, when I land an excellent curveball throw, look at the amount of experience that you get. So it is actually definitely worth it. So that is one throwing tip that I would give you. With every single Pokemon, this is something you should be practicing. Regardless if you're hitting them consistently, regardless if you're missing them, you just want to continuously practice that throw. Because the more excellent curveball throws that you land, the more Pokemon you're going to catch and the more experience you're going to get. And it is a skill. It is something that does require a lot of practice. And as you can see, I'm struggling quite a bit. And it's mainly because I haven't really been practicing. But every single Pokemon that I encounter, I'm continuously practicing my curveball excellent throws. Curveball excellent throws. I'm actually having a really hard time pronouncing my words today. But regardless, yeah, consistently practice your throws. That is a really big tip that I can give. It's something that a lot of players tend to neglect, which I think is a huge mistake. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is in regards to the Pokedex. So, for people who haven't been playing Pokemon GO in a while, they probably did not realize that Niantic actually updated the Pokedex with a whole bunch of different things. And this goes back to the first tip that I had, where I talked about having yourself lofty goals. One of those goals could be to complete every single one of these Pokedexes, and that'll definitely produce a lot of longevity for the game. Like, if you want to complete all of these Pokedexes, it's going to take you ages to do that, but it would be quite an achievement to do. I mean, if you want bragging rights within social media, complete one of these Pokedexes and post about it. I guarantee you'll get a lot of engagement. But speaking of these Pokedexes, there's a lot of things with this Pokedex that you may not necessarily be aware of. One thing in particular that I actually think is incredibly useful is that you can actually set alerts for specific Pokemon. You can see right here, if I go into Poplio, or actually let's go to a Pokemon that is actually spawning right now. So if I were to, let's say with Snorunt. So I want to catch a whole bunch of Snorunt. Let's say just because I want to get candies for Snorunt. And the thing that I can do is look up Snorunt in the Pokedex, and then I can set an alert. Pokemon alerts will notify you when a selected Pokemon is nearby. So if I set the alert, now when I'm playing the game, there will be alerts that Snorunt are nearby. Basically, if any Snorunt appears in the nearby, then my game is going to notify me of it. Really handy tool, I will tell you. It's another great way for you to catch, or I should say, be aware of super rare Pokemon that spawn in the wild. For example, there is the Lake Trio, in which case, yeah, like, those are Pokemon, or even unknown. If those Pokemon show up in the nearby, you're going to be aware of it because, well, that's interesting. If you do alerts for unknowns, now anytime there is an unknown in the nearby, even if I'm outside of the game, it's going to show up. There's going to be a notification. So I could jump into the game, go to it, and catch it. Pretty cool too. So yeah, definitely utilize that tool. It's a really great way for you to utilize the Pokedex to get you all the Pokemon that you need. Now, the next tip that I'm going to be talking about is in regards to experience. Player experience is so important. If you're still not level 50, if you're still not max level, experience is probably going to be your highest priority when it comes to resources. Every Pokemon that you catch, every raid battle that you do, every Pokemon that you evolve, every Pokedex entry that you get, it's all going to give you a good amount of experience. But I will say probably the best and still the best way to get a whole bunch of experience is without a doubt going to be through the friendship system, the friends list. If you continuously open up gifts and send gifts every single day, do pay attention to when you're going to get the next rank of your friendship levels, and that's probably going to be the best time to use your lucky eggs because you're going to come out with a ton of experience. Now, the nice thing that they have going on right now is that when you do level up a friendship, it's actually going to give you an alert before you get that experience. So in which case, like right here, I just hit great friends with this person, man of action 41454, and you can see right here, it's going to show up. I can use a lucky egg to get 10,000 more experience. Obviously, you don't want to do it for great friends, but you want to do it for ultra friends and best friends. But it does give you the option to use a lucky egg, so you don't miss out on that bonus experience. And it goes the same for your friend. So that is definitely something you should keep in mind. If you're going to be getting a whole bunch of experience with all of your friends, then make sure you have some lucky eggs on hand because you'll be given the opportunity to pop it and collect yourself even more experience. Now, speaking of the friends list, this is a huge tip that I think a lot of players tend to neglect. Build up your friends list. Get a whole bunch of friends. Every time you go to a raid, try to add as many friends as possible from that raid. And then continuously open and send gifts every single day. You want to level up the friendship with all of your friends. You want to maximize all of this because not only is the friends list one of the best ways to get experience, but you can also get a whole bunch of items. This is so important because if you live in an urban area, getting items is obviously not going to be an issue. But if you live in a rural area, this is going to be your best way to continuously stock up on Pokeballs. It's going to be a great way for you to get revives and potions, stuff that you need for raid battles, and you also get some Stardust along the way. It's a really great system. I think the friendship system is one of those things that a lot of players tend to neglect, and I think that's a huge mistake. You need to continuously open gifts every single day. Maximize every single one of your friends on your friends list. Make sure you're sending your gifts to your friends. Make sure you're just doing it daily, making sure that you're continuously and consistently keeping up with your friends on your friends list. That is probably one of the most important things I can say. All right, so let's finish this off by now talking about raid battles. Now, raid battles are probably the core gameplay of Pokemon Go. I think a lot of players will say it's PvP, a lot of people will say it's catching Pokemon, which to a degree that is true, but raiding is so important in Pokemon Go. If you're not raiding, you're missing out on a huge chunk of the gameplay. But of course, raiding does involve a lot of resource management. It means you will need to actually power up a lot of your Pokemon. It's going to require a lot, but I will say you need to consistently raid as much as you can. All of your Pokecoins that you get from doing gym battles and whatever in-game purchases should always count towards all of these different boxes that give you a good amount of raid passes. In particular, I will say you should look for boxes that give you way more raid passes compared to other items. For example, this Explorer box is pretty decent. You will want to get about an average of about 1 raid pass for every 60 Pokecoins that you spend. So in this case, this box costs 25 Pokecoins and it gives you 40 premium raid passes. This is a raid box that I would actually buy if I had the Pokecoins. This is some of the things you need to look for. Raid passes are the items you will want to stock up on the most. And of course, they do give you a pretty decent deal, 3 premium raid passes for 250 Pokecoins, but go back to the rule of thumb that I gave, where you want to be spending about 60 Pokecoins per raid pass. And if you're lucky enough, maybe even less. If you can find a box that gives you raid passes to about 50 Pokecoins per pass, that is even better. But you will want to get as many raid passes as you possibly can. Don't worry about incubators, don't worry about incense or star pieces, even lucky eggs. Those are items that you absolutely do not need to get with Pokecoins. The reason why I say that is because there's so many different aspects of Pokemon Go that will actually award you with those other premium items, whether it be special researches, limited timed researches, and sometimes even Pokestop showcases. If you live in a rural area, you should be winning Pokestop showcases pretty consistently. So those are the areas where you can get those other items. But when it comes to raid passes, they are incredibly difficult to get just through gameplay alone. So if you're getting Pokecoins consistently with your gym battles, you should be spending those Pokecoins on specifically raid passes. And yeah, spend those raid passes. Make sure you're raiding as many bosses as you possibly can. Obviously, you will want to do legendary raid bosses before anything else, but if there is a particularly good Pokemon that is going to be useful for PvP or raiding content that's in 5-star or 3-star raids, different things like that, then you should be raiding for those as well. But obviously focus on legendary raids, 5-star raids. It's going to require a lot of players if you do not have a lot of good Pokemon, but try to make friends. Try to get a consistent raid group going. Or if you can afford it, use those remote raid passes, which currently they're extremely expensive. The return on investment is actually pretty low, so I would suggest not focusing on just remote raids, but if you're kind of locked behind being in a rural area and you just have no option of getting raids done unless you use remote raid passes, then by all means do it. You want to focus on raiding as much as you can. That's probably the bulk of you getting the best Pokemon, getting really far ahead in this game. So yeah, these are just my tips for 2025. Pokemon Go is definitely a different game from what it was. I will say that these are the things that I focus on when I play Pokemon Go. I'm sure there's a lot of very important tips that players will give, and by no means do I consider myself a top player. I will say I'm a pretty veteran player at the very least. Like, I've been playing this game for at least 7 years at this point, and yeah, these are the things that I've been employing to get the collection that I have. So yeah, with that said, that's pretty much going to be it. If there is a particular tip that I did not mention that you feel deserves to be mentioned, make sure you share it in the comment section down below. Yeah, let's all help each other out. I know there's a lot of people who started playing Pokemon Go very recently, and I know there's a lot of people who are coming back to the game with some of the recent changes that Niantic has made. And yeah, they probably have no idea what the game is like right now, and I really hope this video ended up being very helpful for you. But I know there's a lot of players out there who have been playing just as long as I have, and they probably have some really good tips as well. So make sure you go down to the comments section and read some of the things that people have posted. And yeah, hopefully this video was really helpful for you, and thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. I'm having a lot of trouble speaking today. I don't know why I decided to record this video today in particular, but regardless, yeah, if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, if you want to support everything that I do, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. That's going to be the best way you could support me. If you want to get a permanent spot on my Pokemon Go friends list, if you want to fully take part in that one tip that I mentioned, then consider joining my Patreon, because for all of my paid Patreon members, I will add them to my Pokemon Go friends list, and for stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, that's the way that you could play with me. So yeah, definitely go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you're always welcome to do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. That'll be a huge help to my channel. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all on the next one.